Okay, so yeah, what's the question? Let's
The
go.
question is how does it feel when your relationship, when you know and your relationship is about to end, or there is nothing left in this relationship?
So it's a really good question, but it really depends on the couple. So your question was, how does it feel when the relationship is about to end? So number one, that can change from both people, and number two, that can be different for every single person in the whole world, because ultimately it depends on how they feel about the other person in the relationship. So I'd have to go into multiple scenarios, but we'll go into a few. So let's say that you've got this one scenario number one. They both want to be together. Okay, they both want to be together. If they're now, if they're putting an end to the relationship, or one of them is, even though there's a part of them that wants to be with the person, but they feel like logically it has to end. Yeah, because your emotions will be one thing. Yes, I want to stay, but logically it's not good for me to stay. This is scenario number one. One of them wants to end. So that means that this one person who wants to end it is there's a conflict in them because logically they want to end, but emotionally they want to stay. But they know that it's the right thing to do, so they're fighting their emotions, which is a good thing. Um, the other person also wants to stay in this scenario, so they'll feel heartbroken. Okay, so that's this scenario. Scenario number two. In scenario number two, one of them both logically and emotionally wants to leave both. Okay, and the other person wants to stay again. So the one who emotionally logically wants to leave won't feel heartbroken because they're like, I want to be free from this marriage. I want to get out of this marriage and this relationship. So for them, it'll be freedom to leave. Yes, it might be hard because of what the other person might do to them, whatever it might be, false allegations, lies, manipulation, turning other people against them, all sorts of things. They might just make their life hard in a whole array of way. But they will still be happier in the end because they emotionally were disconnected from them and logically they wanted to leave as well. But the other person, their partner, wants them, so they'll be heartbroken still. And out of that heartbreak, they might actually do revenge. They might be vengeful with them and take their anger and their revenge out on them, and that's where some of this, false allegations and so on comes from. Scenario number three. Scenario number three is where they both feel emotionally and logically disconnected. They don't want to be together, so that those ones tend to end well. These marriages can end in a peaceful way because they both mutually decided that, okay, we're not emotionally there for each other anymore. We don't really love each other, feel that love, warmth, connection, and logically it just makes sense for us both to move on, have our own place, and have new partners and move on. So they're both because there's no negative, painful emotion. There's no such thing as negative emotion. It's painful emotion. Because there's no painful emotion, there's not going to be retaliation. Okay, there's not going to be revenge and vengeance and all of that. So that one ends peacefully, and that's where we want to get people to. We want to get them to a point where they're both logically, they've made a decision that yes, it's safe, it's good to leave, and emotionally they're ready to leave. When I say we want to get them to, I'm not saying I want to end relationships. What I'm saying is when one of them wants to end, and they definitely don't want to go back, then it's only wise to help the other to come to the same conclusion that, look, this person doesn't want you anymore, and so you need to disconnect as well, because there's no point being in love with someone that doesn't love you back, or being emotionally connected, and so on. Okay, so that's the third one. The fourth one is where one of you is emotionally disconnected and logically disconnected, and the other one is emotionally connected but logically disconnected. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that they know, this other person knows that, okay, it's bad for me, the relationship is bad for me, but they emotionally still want the person. They know that yes, we shouldn't be together. We're both bad for each other. We do bad things. We encourage each other to do bad things, but they still, one of them feels that love, connection, lust, whatever it might be. It's not always love. So that person needs work. That this level 4, they need to come to level 3. They need that help to overcome this emotional attachment. So they're emotionally attached. Person number 3 was emotionally detached. So there are obviously other combinations. Like I said, every single couple in the world will be different because your question is very broad question. A very specific question could give a very specific answer, but a very broad one requires a broad answer. And it changes. Marriage is such a thing that every single marriage is unique. And I always say, husband is unique, wife is unique. Therefore, unique times unique is unique squared, which means every relationship is even more unique. I hope that helps and gives some insight to anyone who's thinking about ending their relationship. It can be done peacefully, but you both need to be emotionally and logically disconnected to end peacefully. And so the question is how to get there.